Okay. Hello, hi guys. So we're taking off her forms, and we're gonna wipe them down with a little prep and wipe. And if you want to see underneath, peekaboo, they're red. That's the goal. So what I'm going to do with her filing is first I'm going to hit the front and the sides. I'm going to get a base of my length going on here and hit the sides, and then the rest I'm going to do by hand. So is that good length, my dear? That makes her happy. She wants them as long as I will make them. Let's be real.
You know what? Actually, I had a dream that they were short, and
What?
I kind of liked it. Kind of.
What?
But I got used to braiding with them so long. I think I would just, it would look crazy. If me
Yeah.
braid with them short, I
Oh,
wouldn't be
all
able
right.
to do it.
Couldn't handle it.
Maybe one day it'll be short.
Yeah. So normally I file with my Valentino, but it's I don't finish file with my Valentino because I can't really work around it. But for this part, I probably would turn it back on. So I'm just getting the basic sides and the front. And the way that I check length from nail to nail is hold it up. So cuticle to tip, this one's too long. So shorten, shorten, shorten. Cuticle to tip, there we go. And that's for these three. This one you kind of have to gauge based on that. Oh, that one's too short. Right. Shorten them all a little bit. Don't too much. Don't have a heart attack. I know what she was thinking. I could hear it. Yeah. Okay, so you want to be about equal for those. And then typically what I can do is I can feel the length from underneath, but when they're this long, it's really hard to check the length that way. And for years, I had clients that I would do that on, and I didn't realize I did that. And I finally had a client that's like, I don't understand why you always push on my finger. And I'm like, what do you mean I push on your finger? And she had to point out to me that I would actually touch the end of her fingers like this because I was gauging the length, and I didn't realize I did that. I still do. Well, it's hard to do it with this long, but when they're shorter, I can feel the length on each one based on the angle that my finger hits it. And but it's too hard to do it with it this long. So, all right, after I have done the front and the sides, all right, I'm going to take my file, and I have a 100-100 grit file, holding it straight on the sides. I want to make sure that this is coming straight out. Pull the skin away and come straight out. And then this is where you can taper it in a little bit if you want to create a little bit more of a tapered look. And I do always create a little bit of a taper because once you add your color, your tapered nail is going to naturally go more square. So I always taper in a little bit, but if you want to go for like a full ballerina, you need to taper it in quite a bit. So always remember that when you are finished filing and then you're going to apply color, that your tapered nail is going to look more square once you get your color on. So, huh?
It's pretty thick too, right? The color.
It's not super thick, but it adds a little bit of thickness between the 2 coats of color and your gloss. So I'm holding the nail and I'm looking down the barrel as I file, and I'm very lightly going over the surface, and my file is going to pick up any high spots as I do it. So this full set is called a Couture full set. So this is not your typical full set. I booked this for 2 hours, and we took about a half an hour for us to remove and get her prepped. So it's quite a longer appointment than what a standard full set would be. So just make sure as a nail tech you guys are pricing for your time, because it's going to take you longer to do a set this long. So looking down the barrel, you want to make sure that you have a nice thin tip, but you're maintaining a good arch onto the nail. How does that look? Pretty nice, right? Nice and slick coming out. Very pretty. It's really nice. Nice, madame. So make sure you get a nice high arch right here in the center of a nail, especially with nails this long. You need to make sure that they are good and strong. So again, we're going to come straight out and then parallel. And if you're doing a set this long, plan on using 2 files, because you can use 1 file for one hand, and if you go to start using that same file on the second hand, it's going to take you 10 times longer. So just plan on grabbing a second file for the second hand, because you're going to save yourself a lot of time. Sometimes people might wonder, why does it take me so much longer to finish file the second hand than it does the first hand? And that's why, because you're dealing with so make that a little bit shorter, because you're dealing with a file that's like a buffer. You need a nice coarse file. So like I said, I don't do finish filing with my e-file other than just that bit on the edges. Everything else is by hand. Probably a lot of it's because I'm filing gel, and gel files like butter and if you're using an e-file, it's very easy to quickly overfile, and you could end up with a hot mess. So coming in, tapering this in a bit more. Check it from the bottom. Check it from the bottom. Thin out your free edge. Make a nice arch in the nail.
Teresa said, welcome back. What's on your nails?
Oh my gosh, what is on my nails? That is a long story. When I was at Nail Olympia, I was kind of trying to mess around with an idea for my stilettos. So I was playing with kind of the, kind of building mounds of gel to create kind of a polka dot effect. And so underneath you can see that they are like pink and white and blue kind of swirled, and you can see some dots in there because I was doing this kind of polka dot thing. And then I just threw some silver on it as a fade. And then I wore it like that for like a day or two, and then I kind of got bored with it because it was really light because of all the white and silver, and I'm not a French person. I don't wear French. So it was really just very like white for me. So then I was like, oh, well, it's a show today. So I was at Lauren's booth, at the Wildflowers booth, and I think I was talking to Phoenix, who did awesome. She was in novice division, but she had some fabulous scores. And she's like, oh yeah, this, you know, this top glass gel is so fun because it's like a neon pink, and I'm like, oh, I could throw that on my nails. So then I threw the neon pink Wildflowers glass gel over the top of my glitter and my marbling. And then in my goodie bag from winning the Best of Best, I got a kind of like a, I don't know if it's a chrome, I think it's a chrome-ish pigment from the Profiles girls. And so I was like, oh, I should throw that on there too. So I have all kinds of stuff going on my nails right now. And what really annoys me actually is that they're really thick because I just kept piling stuff on them. So I'll change them up before either next weekend or Pasadena in a few weeks. I'll be at the Pasadena show. So I'll change them up again because they're really not, they're crazy. They're a little bit crazy because they're just mishmashed. I mean, people think they're cool. That's good. But they are kind of all over the place. It's a big story. You know, sometimes I have no plan of action and who knows what happens. So one of the reasons it's really easy to get a nice smooth cuticle area is because I leave so much space. Remember I said don't get very far back there. You want to leave space, and that way you get this really nice graduated nail, and you don't end up with the hump nail in the back. And so a lot of that is just being careful not to add too much product back there. I mean, you don't want to be digging it out of the cuticle anyway. That's like my nightmare, is to dig product out of the cuticle.
Elizabeth says, why don't you take the red all the way to the cuticle so it lasts longer under the nail?
Because it's not going to last longer under the nail. Because as soon as her natural nail is growing out, you're going to see natural nail, not red. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you're going to see her natural nail as it grows out, not the red. I also don't want to build extra bulk from color at the cuticle. I want that to be kind of all strength, and I also want to be able to see to her cuticle, and I want to see her nail bed every time she comes in. So if I cover it with all red and it's always going to be there, if she comes in and she's got lifting, I can't see it because now you have a completely red nail. Whereas if you keep where the nail is clear, when she comes in, you're going to be able to see it because I'm not going to be removing that red. But yeah, as her nail grows out, it's going to be her natural nail underneath, not the red. So the red's only going to last as long as the natural nail is not growing out. Thanks for the questions, Liz. Keep them coming. Yes, this is return week, so normally Thursday nights I work till 10 anyway. I normally do like a 14-hour day on Thursdays, but this week I've got a couple of them because I was gone last week, so I have to accommodate my lovely people, and to do that sometimes it means a late night. I'm going to be gone for, this is what happens when I tell my clients, so I'm going to be gone for 20 days at Christmas.
What?
See, that's what happens. So, because our flights were just so much cheaper, like miles-wise and fee-wise, was so much cheaper if we left like 2 days before the kids got out of school and came back like 2 days after they returned to school.
That is horrible.
I'm sorry. So they all want to know when they can book in.
So.
And I'm like, I feel like I should auction appointments for the day before I leave and the day when I get back.
And the highest bidder goes to
Huh?
And the highest bidder goes to Lorraine. I need you at least the 22nd.
No, I'm gone. I'm leaving on the 14th.
Oh, I need the 14th for sure.
I leave on the 14th.
Okay, the 13th.
Yeah, on the 13th. Uh-huh.
So, for $300.
I'll give it to Lorraine. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Michelle said, how do you keep your energy up on these 14-hour days? She has this magic medicine somewhere in here. Where is that, actually?
It's for my back, and yeah, I will take it. Not every day, but there are days when I do need to take it to keep my back in check. And it kind of makes me hyper, too, which is hilarious because I can be really tired. And part of it's because my back hurts, and part of it's because I'm really tired. So the combination of what? Tatiana, explain that comment. I don't understand it.
And somebody asked what grit tool you're using.
So I'm using a 100 grit file, and it is almost dead. So I'm definitely going to be switching to another file when I do the next hand. Because it just takes you way longer. If you are filing with a dead file, you're going to file so much harder. And this is an accents file, and I've been recently testing less expensive files because I want to carry more files in my store for you guys so that when you guys shop, you have the choice of getting less expensive files. But man, I hate them. They just, the sound alone, I mean, let me grab one. I'll show you what I mean. Oh. You hear that? It's just, they're really loud, and these files so much smoother, and the grit on those, you think, oh, they're nice and coarse. They do not last. It's just one of those you get what you pay for situations when it comes to files. So I have yet to find files that I like as much as these. Now I have found some little mini files which are awesome for the 30-day manicure. So I'm going to talk to that company about seeing if I can get them for my 30-day manicure to have available, because that way it is cheaper for a one use on a client file. And when you're doing a standard 30-day manicure, you don't file very much. I mean, I file such a small amount that it is kind of a waste to use a nice big file, but these little ones are awesome. So stay tuned, and I will introduce those once I get those in my hot little hands for you guys.
Patty said, I have tried them all, and the only other files I like are OPI, and they're expensive also.
Yeah, you just, you get what you pay for. And I try them, and I just can't stand, like, that they lose the grit so fast, and then they're not smooth. Like, they're just so bumpy, and it drives me a little bit crazy. And we do not need more things driving us crazy. So a nice slight taper. These aren't, you know, ballerina or anything. They're just going to be a slightly tapered square. So that is how that looks. All right, and then we're just going to do some color and some of the unicorn on top of it. So I can come back and show you guys that if you want. Just checking these lengths, making sure that they are good to go. This one was a little bit long. Once you shorten, always check again down the barrel to make sure that your thickness isn't really thick. So I want you guys to look. There's a little high spot on that side. I want you guys to look down the barrel to see how thin your nails should be when you do them. You shouldn't have huge thickness, okay? That's not where your strength is. Your strength, that one's actually, I shortened that one, so that one's a little bit thicker. Your strength is not on your tip. Your strength is on your arch. So if you turn these sideways, thank you, Lorraine, you should have an arch in each of these that's going to give you the strength. So when you squeeze them, you should feel them nice and strong. So they should be able to survive even Lorraine's abuse. Alright guys, so we will finish these with a color and some hologram, and I'll be back, I'll show you guys that too. So I'll come back and show you guys how we use the Wildflowers hologram, and I'll file her other hand and return momentarily. Let me just make sure this is how I want it. kind of picky filer. I'll keep going as long as I can. That's what scares me about going into the Masters division in competition. Now I have to compete against the likes of Allie Baker. That's crazy. And I spent a lot of time filing, and I need to get product application down crazy fast so that I can spend enough time filing and getting it pretty and perfect as much as possible. Alright. I'm going to do the other hand, and then I will return with color and chrome pigment type of application soon. Okay, bye guys.